Okay.
Okay, let's go.
Hey guys, we are here. This is Başak.
Hey guys, here we are. This is Kate.
Hey, how are you, Kate?
I'm well. I'm very well. How are you? You are out of the country. Where are you?
I know for a change, I didn't blur my background because I am on a beautiful yoga retreat in Turkey that myself and my husband are leading. And we are in this magical place called Berdebet Golden Key at
Mm,
Marmaris. And we are
mm.
with a beautiful group of people, and it's been just a dream to be here, really. So I'm basking in you can tell probably just in happiness and
I can hear it in your voice. I can see it in the glow coming from you through
oh, thank
Zoom.
you.
It's
Yeah, it's so
amazing.
lovely. Yes, yes. How are you doing? How are
I'm
you?
doing fine, perhaps not glowing quite as much, but everything is good. Everything is coming up on 4th of July, and so there's a lot of family around, and it's a lot of love in the air. So that's always good. But we have an
Yeah.
incredible guest with us this week, and I'm so excited. The most beautiful human being and most talented. Shall we
So I
bring her
am
on?
so yeah, Susan is actually with me at the retreat here, but she's joining us from her room. Susan, would you please turn your video on and say hello to us? Hi.
Thanks for that introduction.
That
That's
was
quite
very
a
brief.
lot to live up to. So good to be with both of you again. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Susan. I want to take a moment to introduce Susan humbly because she's somebody that we can probably talk half an hour about who she is in the world, but I'm going to try to make it as precise as possible. And I know she's very embarrassed by all of this. She doesn't like attention, and she's an extremely humble human being. So I'm going to do it very fast so we can get to
Okay,
our.
good.
So Susan Cianciolo is a visual artist and designer who received her BFA from Parsons Schools of Design in New York in 1992. Also studied in Paris, France. She studied at Winchester School of Art in England. And in addition to her visual arts practice, she was a founder and designer of Run Collection from 1995 to 2001, whose presentations were repeatedly shown at Andrea Rosen Gallery. Recent solo exhibitions include in several different locations, such as in London, UK, in Bridget Donahue at New York, in Los Angeles, California, in San Sebastian, Spain, Paris, Portland, Oregon, Milan, Italy, Yokohama, Japan, Zurich in Switzerland, the Netherlands, in the Whitney Museum of American Art in New York, MoMA, PS1, among many, many others. She participated in the 2018 Siena Art Institute residency in Italy and was the Annie and Joseph Alberts Foundation. Her work has made an important contribution to the intersecting histories of art and fashion of the last 3 decades. Cianciolo uses a variety of personal objects and archival material to produce collages, garments, textiles, installations, publications, performances, and much, much more. Whew,
Whew.
that's a lot.
Glad that's done.
Now that's over it. Now, I know Susan personally for about maybe 10 years in a completely different capacity through our um, gatherings, through our work in yoga, in spirituality. And it is interesting that it took me many, many years to actually go to her exhibition. And Kate, you were with me there, if you remember, and we had deep conversations after that, that we were blown away because we didn't understand the extent of her creativity. We always see Susan, wherever we go, we go to many retreats with Susan, always drawing, always journaling, always clipping. And you know, you see all of this come true. So, my first question to you, Susan, can you tell a little bit of your journey as an artist? When did you first feel the call to create?
Um, it was definitely very young, and um, there's all different points of memory where I was making things, and there's specific memories of, and I've heard other people say this, making very tiny clothes and um, learning on the machine by myself and by hand with family members, and uh, one friend, her mother, who was a master in making dresses. But I don't know, I can't really give you an exact day or time, but there's just like a lot of memories of you know young drawing, making, and then slowly all the pieces sort of fit together. It was a journey when I was young too, to learn what is it exactly I'm going to make.
And were you encouraged by your family members? Was there anyone who inspired or encouraged you as you were experimenting and feeding?
Well, I mean, not in that like a traditional way of go be an artist kind of thing, but um, a lot of people have asked me, or I've talked about this in the past, where in the household we were all making. So that's still a part of my work with, more traditional skills with knitting, crocheting, sewing, embroidery. And um, a, a recent trip that I went to India, I think I was very emotional, crying a lot because I learned such incredibly like sacred techniques, but it all brought me back to childhood.
Mhm.
And my family discouraged me from being an artist. They,
Most families do.
yeah. And so they really recommended I go the route of being a fashion designer, because that seemed where I could learn a trade and get a job. But I feel my mom, as when I was young, I remember the smell of her oil paints, but she did other professions. But I just remember her understanding of my creativity as probably the only family member that, um, just maybe could relate or speak with me about it or encourage me.
Yeah, yeah, that makes
It's
sense.
so fascinating to me because it sounds like this was so innate in you. You were almost an embodiment of this creativity. So we just had a chapter about karma, and it sounds very karmic. It's like this is not the first time you are doing this.
Oh yeah, I feel that way.
To
I
do
I feel all the time, because I'm always, even though I'm not a fashion designer anymore, I'm still just always sewing and making garments or tapestries, and I do feel sometimes a flash of doing it, before this lifetime, or there's some connection that's more very old.
Yeah, that's amazing.
so was there a particular moment like when you begin to recognize your art as a spiritual practice?
Well, again, maybe I'm not sure if I was asked that exactly, or maybe I've just contemplated it myself, that when I look back in that time of being that quote unquote fashion design career, I look at my methods then, and they were I'd say in this way it is now, where it's a lot about this faith, like that common expression, like the blind faith, where there's definitely so much trust in the unknown and just so much praying all the time that a miracle will come and help me, because it's generally a lot of labor, but it's what I love. But I do believe that there's elves in the night that come in and help me, because I really do, because somehow it just gets done. But I feel like maybe this spiritual practice now might fall really into, like, oh, I have a spiritual path now. But I was so religious since I was so young that was throughout the work always,
Oh,
to
Yeah.
interesting. So you were religious since you were young. And again, was that something that came from inside you, that you just felt that?
yeah, like, my mom told me that when I was, because when I was 4, I just decided to join this church that was next door, and it was a Pentecostal where you would like dance and sing, and you would like fall back, and you'd feel spirit catching you, and it was very old fashioned, where like when I turned 12, you got baptized like in the water, and I just went by myself and joined this family, and read we just studied the Bible. But so I I suppose, and then I was involved in my family's religions too. But so there was this something, and in certain exercises, Bajak, when you say like maybe go back to your first teacher, I do go back to that minister that, in that early age of just really feeling the light in
Yeah.
that environment with them.
That's an amazing
So
story.
fascinating, right? I mean, I feel like because for those who are listening and maybe not familiar with Susan's work, and for those who are familiar will attest to that, there is a very etheric quality about Susan's work, right? You kind of like, it is so innovative that you wonder, where is this coming from? How did she know to put these pieces together? So now this makes sense to me, right? There's because you have this incredible faith in you that you're so open to receive this. We call, in yoga, this rising intelligence, the prana.
Hmm. Hmm.
I mean, I don't really look at either what's the outcome or what's happening. Most of the time I like ask the angels and God to like just guide me, and then and then I believe they say go this direction, and then I'll always say to them, that doesn't really make sense, and I don't necessarily want to do that, but I'm going to do it because you told me to. And I don't really understand the reason usually I'm making these things, but after it's all done, there's this clarity, you know, and and that's where I think it's always been that way since the beginning. Even if maybe, I wasn't as clear in my path, but there was this, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I'm doing this. And I always say, like, this is crazy, but sure, I'm gonna do it. And I feel that way right now with the next show I have. I really just like get on my hands and knees and just pray, like, please, like, be with me, because I don't know how in the world this is gonna happen.
Well, I was going to ask later the question the added question, which we hadn't mentioned before, was about doubt. But I think you've already kind of answered that. So it's in what you just said, but maybe, if you have moments of doubt.
Then I pray, yeah.
Yeah.
And I ask for, usually I'll say, if you could send me a really clear sign that you're going to be with me on this, like a rainbow or a certain animal that's going to come and talk to me. Like, sometimes I need something because it just seems too
Yeah.
big to
Yeah.
handle, or I don't, yeah. So I think, but for some reason, I can have doubt in all aspects of my life, but this one thing in my work, there is this like undying faith that no matter when the doubt comes in, I just like there's nothing else. I just keep going. You know, like I have blinders on.
Wow,
It's
I got
almost like
chills.
this. Yeah, I do too. I mean, this is something that only I think very few people probably connect to this amount of trust and surrender to the process, right? To the path. Like clearly your embodiment of that. And it's so inspiring to even hear that, because we are so busy trying to control everything and trying to lead things in a certain way. This like well, I know how to, I have it. I am just going to trust it. Wow.
And then so then it makes me ask or want to know, does the inspiration or your ideas, where do you pray for those? Do you just, how do you, is it different every time, or do you have a concept that comes in? Like, do you have, is that a
Is it
question I
themes?
have?
Is it nature?
Yeah,
Is
that's
it
a good question.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not also that I feel, oh, I'm special. Like I feel every artist has ideas and instinct and then they just follow it,
Yep.
and so I'm following that same formula probably that all artists are doing but everyone will have a different sort of way about it. So if mine is sketching, I use watercolor and sketching to formulate my three-dimensional ideas. And I think like I know architects do that, fashion designers do that, so that's a pretty traditional practice. And then I in my personal style is I work in many, many, many books and to just build performances or exhibitions. Like traditionally I draw out the floor plan, but what I use repetition. Like I draw the same floor plan over and over and over, like day after day. And so it's just I have these little techniques so it's in my brain, and then I communicate with the gallery that way. And so I don't think it's anything outrageous,
Yeah. Yeah.
and my inspiration, it can be also very repetitive, like like flowers, nature, like there's just very simple aspects that I like, you know.
I love that, first of all, the discipline that you have in like day after day after day going back to it. Like that requires, we call it in yoga practice, right? You have this incredible sadhana that you are dedicated to continuously doing your practice. That's so inspiring. And also that combined with also that belief that, every day is different and every day you might be inspired a little bit differently.
Yeah, that's why I see how it changes and develops. And and I spend a lot of time alone to just be with this process. And I feel that's why the yoga helps me, because I see there's like a parallel, you
Yeah.
know and
Yeah, I was going to ask you because you're such a big yoga lover.
yeah,
Um,
I love it.
how is that influences your art?
Well, I mean, there's the very obvious thing that because you gave a class this morning and it was more challenging, so then I'm able to, after that class, be very, very focused and work very, like, in a very clear, flowing, kind of graceful way, compared to another day that I have to really use techniques to
Mhm.
get myself going, or um, just not, because I jump from many things, but to just, it's like a harmony or a dance or a, like, so when I'm working, so that's the whole reason for me, is it's just such a peaceful world or bubble I jump into. So my like I love the process. That's my point of making it. I don't know I can't imagine a life without that practice, just like yoga, just like meditation, just like swimming, these like beautiful aspects of life, you know?
Well, I was going to say that the thing that surprised me maybe when I first met you was how strong you are, and your physical practice is so strong. And so it's so interesting that you talk about that sort of, I feel like, and you could talk to this maybe, that a lot of that, so when you do the physical practice of the yoga, you get through that physical thing so that you can sort of move into the spiritual, the mental thing. But when you're
Yes.
don't have that, right, then you're doing the sketching, which is a very physical thing. So you're physically
Yes.
doing that,
It's
right?
very physical.
Yeah.
Well, that's why, when it comes up to a show, it can be very painful because I'm working so much and it's so physical, and I just always remember, like, right before a show opens, I'll lay in bed and I'll tell my daughter, I can't move my arm, I can't move my fingers, it's so, and she'll always say, like, don't work so hard, and then she'll get in the studio and start sewing and helping because it's like, but it's so that's why I need the yoga and the other, I need to do things, which is great, in order to to like making art. It is, I don't know if people realize that, but it is physical. Like you're on the floor, you're moving heavy things, but that's also very nice. It's tactile.
Yes.
Yeah, and what do you think about art's, you know, power of healing for others or transforming others? Because I feel it when I look at a piece of art or one of your creations, it is just transformative because it forces you to see outside the box, like see outside of your mundane way of looking at things. How is that for you? Do you see that through like me or other people's eyes and see that transformation?
I'm more like relating to when there's moments I might see art, someone else's art that touches me or makes me cry. So I know, like, just from me personally, I don't think I can speak about art and everyone, you know, as a healing, but I don't think I can speak about my own work in that way, but I try to more or less offer an experience. That's my goal, I guess, that if someone's going to take the time, I hope that, like, it's worth the experience, because I think there's so much to do in the world, and I'm never disappointed if someone wouldn't come to a show or see something, but I just like creating things also that are interactive. So the show that you both came to, that, like, that's a performance and an interactive experience, and I generally that's do that at every opening where there's um a workshop, or there's I like performances where the viewer and the audience is like physically engaged, in a sense, there's some sense.
Yeah. I have to say
And
in that oh, sorry, do you have a question? Go
go
ahead.
ahead, go ahead.
I was going to say in that experience of that gallery, I very much, and it's a small gallery, I should just tell for listeners, and it was a very warm day, and there was such a, uh, and I realized it was part of the whole thing, us all these people in this small room huddled around, and then this sort of walkway, where you were presenting these things, and I realized it was the entire thing, our reaction, our sweating, our, engaging
Yes,
with you. It was just, and I was like, oh wow, okay, I'm getting this, and it was a full body experience, and yeah,
yes,
it was
yes,
it was wonderful. I can see that conversation was happening. Yeah.
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 definitely.
Yeah. Sorry, what
So,
were you going to say?
no, I kind of wanted to ask about how your spiritual practice evolves through your art or the other way around over time.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Mm.
Well, the note that I took when I'd asked myself that was just the word clear came up. Because I think that's a hard question to I could get in my head about it a lot, but just instinctually, there's just something it gets clearer and more clear as the years go on, where um, there's this contentment that just grows and gets bigger, and where there's this feeling that I'm just so satisfied with the work, where there's, for example, winter I love because it's just the most beautiful quiet time to just be in the studio working with the snow, and it's like, and just seeing those colors outside, and it's more harsh, but then, and there's such an contentment that I feel I'm so happy that maybe this is my last show. Like, I just feel I've done it all, because it's just so enjoyable. And, and that's like, those have been questions to teachers to say, like, I feel like this is it. I'm just so content. I don't need to do anything else in life. Like, there's just being in my studio with the work like that. So I think that's probably how it's evolved. I've always enjoyed it, but it just gets also more simpler in a way too.
It's
Wow.
beautiful, simple, right? Simple
Yeah,
living, higher
yeah.
thinking.
Yeah.
Yes. That's wonderful. Our time is getting short, unfortunately. There's just so much. I mean, we are just tipping on the tip of the iceberg. Like, what is, it's very interesting to me. But the last thing I'd love to hear, you know, if this whole creative journey that you are on, your art, could offer a message or prayer to the world, what would that be? I know it's a very big question,
Well,
and I thought about this
uh,
a lot.
again, I like what right before I came on, I asked that question to myself, and so instinctually what came without overthinking it was be yourself,
Mm.
because that's not so easy. I'm still working on that word. Just so I stay very isolated or don't look around. Just so I just keep hearing what's my voice, and how do I be myself in this work. And it sounds so simple,
Oops.
you
We,
know.
we,
Our internet is a little bit bad
That's
here.
definitely
yeah.
Sorry,
that makes sense.
you cut off a little bit, Susan, because of the internet, I think. Could you repeat that? I'm sorry. I know you
Sure.
just probably said something so profound that it cut off.
I don't know
Internet
if
took
that,
it. Internet
maybe
took
it wasn't profound. That's why I got cut off. So I'm saying be yourself. That's
Mm.
that's it. And that's what I'm working on every day.
I think we all are, aren't we? Finding that inner voice, the truth, that
Yes, the inner voice.
clearing
Yes.
all the debris from the
Yes,
space of
yes,
the heart and the mind. Yeah.
But and all the time, right? Is that
yes,
it's easy to do it, not easy, easier to do it in moments, but to be authentic all the time.
yes, yes, yes. I find
And
that beautiful.
that's authenticity is what actually, that's beautiful that you said that, Kate.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know that you
it's
are very unique individual and very, I feel, authentic to yourself, and it's very inspiring in that way. And that's the beauty of it, right? I think true artists, and I'm not an art critic, I don't know anything about art, but it's for me, it lends itself as like true artists being who they are and being very unique and original and continuously reflect on that. That's just what it shows up to me.
yes, I feel that
Yeah.
authentic. I'm glad that you brought that word up too.
And you are a teacher now also. You teach
Yes,
the, yeah, new generations. How is that experience for you?
Well, I feel it that's more where I see there could be room for healing components and modalities, and that's where I'm working on experimenting a lot in the classroom, like bringing in meditation or like they call it mindful practices, but just ways to be slower, more good to yourself, and not pushing yourself past your limit. So I'm like bringing in things that took me like 30 years to
Yeah.
work on. And so I feel, oh, this is a good way to just introduce things, because I don't believe there's a right way, but it's just where then I'm learning so much from from the students, enormous amount. So it's an exchange.
What a gift.
Yeah, what a gift. And it's so interesting because
Like,
there's that trope of the tortured artist, and that you have to
Yes.
hurt yourself to actually produce something, and you're sort of working against that, which I
So
love.
yes, that's what I'm working on. And
Mhm.
that's why when sometimes I'll forget because I'll get excited, and it's probably the same. Like sometimes if I injure myself in yoga, and then I have to tell myself, okay, only beginner classes from now on until you relearn that lesson. And I think it's very similar, where how can I go in a slow, relaxed pace while like time management, planning ahead because the surprises come up, and so there's things like little thing techniques, I guess, if I can share those, but
yeah,
going against that other kind of old regime in a way.
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
That's so beautiful. And what a beautiful gift to leave to the as a legacy, as a contribution to the world,
Well,
rather than saying
legacy is a big
my
word.
person.
I don't
It
know
is.
about legacy, but
A little present, a little teeny tiny
yeah,
present.
I don't
yeah.
know.
I
I think
mean,
that's,
I'm happy to. I'm still a student, and I'm happy for that.
Yeah,
right. That's the beauty of it. You're still learning, but also you are giving what you learn. You're sharing. So you are not like, just saying, this is mine and this is my process and I just want to be this. Yeah, that's amazing. That's the abundance, right? That's the also compassion for
mhm,
others, the understanding where
Yeah,
they are struggling.
that's beautiful. Yeah, that's a
mhm,
good way of looking at it.
yeah.
Thank you, Susan. You're
Thank you.
always incredibly graceful, incredibly beautiful, and I'm just so in awe of you. And I'm so happy that we get to spend some time here next couple of days.
And I am
I'm honored.
jealous and I'm envious.
And
Well,
you could have been here.
I know, another time.
I'm really grateful to both of you. You've inspired me so much, and I'm thankful to know both of you. So this is such an honor to answer your great questions, and it's really meaningful for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. I know you don't give a lot of interviews, so we're honored to have you in this podcast, and we hope that you come back another time.
I'd love to. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
So we do have an homework that we give each other before you leave.
Oh,
Yes.
yes, please.
So, Kate, what is your homework from this conversation?
What is my own work? Oh my gosh, there's so much. There's so much. I think I'm going to the nugget.
Kate is a writer, so I think you probably can
Yes,
give.
there's a lot that in terms of writing that I can use like in that creative process. But I think the thing to think about as I'm working is about authenticity, about being who I am and not being afraid of that, and embracing that, and allowing it to happen. So
Mm.
that's going to be my
Oh,
own work. So my own work is doing nothing, just allowing it to happen.
wow.
There you go.
Amazing.
Thank you.
It's,
And you,
wow.
Ashak?
My homework is, I think, just finding more and more those quiet moments, even though I'm a fan of a quiet moments already. But I think we can all use more of that to shut all the noise and then really listen to your heart and just move in that direction. What you said, Susan, about I don't know where this is gonna go. I don't know if it's gonna even come out. I just pray. I just have faith, and I just and that is such a beautiful metaphor of life. I think if we can live like that life, with that much of faith and surrender, and in awe of what is going to come up. I love that. I'll take that on.
Thank you. That was so helpful to hear both of those
The
homeworks.
Homeworks, yes.
Helps me so much too. Thank you.
Thank you
You're
so
both so
much.
amazing.
Thank you, and you are so
Thank you.
amazing. We will leave with our little
Our
also.
little dance ourselves out. Dance
Yes,
Okay.
ourselves away. Here we go. Love you both. Thank
You
you.
too.
love you.
Love you
Bye
too.
bye.
Bye.
Bye, Bashak.
Bye, Kate. See you next week.
See you next week.